Hi everyone, it's Tanya MFK here with your 52 Weeks of Momentum lesson recap. We are in week 22. If this is your first time, welcome. I am Tanya Marie Figueres-Kreisinger, more easily known as Tanya MFK. I am a member of Benjamin Hardy's 52 Weeks of Momentum course, and I come here every week to just share what I'm learning and the insights I'm gaining. This is in no way a substitute for the course. Obviously, I'm not Benjamin Hardy. In addition to that, we get a ton of amazing resources that are worth every penny, and I highly, highly recommend the course. But if you did miss it, then you can tag along with me and get your own piece of momentum throughout the year. So as I said, we are in week 22, and we have some changes, which is kind of a theme, and I think either on purpose or not, maybe it's also part of our lessons, is learning to adapt, learning to be flexible, learning for change, learning to grow, and not necessarily always knowing what to expect. So the big change, which for some is a real welcome change, is that we don't have any assignments in the traditional sense. Now, if you've been tagging along for the last 22 weeks, there's been different assignments and tasks and worksheets and things that we've had to do and have been required to turn in. So if you were here last week, we talked a lot about accountability, and I think this shares that same theme in the sense that instead of having any assignments, our goals are to pick our assignment is to pick what we want to do. Like, what do we want to accomplish this month? The next 4 weeks, what do I want to make sure happens? And we need to tell someone, which in this case will be our accountability people within the group. We need to tell them what we're going to do. And at the end of the month, we're going to be held to that. And if we don't meet that goal that we've set for ourselves, we don't get the next week of lessons. I mean, the next month, maybe month. I'm not sure actually. But we don't get the next lesson. Oh my gosh, do we really have a lot to think about? We have to think about setting realistic goals. Don't want to set them too low either, because then what are we really accomplishing? And also really setting out a plan to make sure that we accomplish them. We're going to get held back from our course, right? Nobody wants that. So it's a big deal and also exciting in a lot of ways. I'm kind of excited that I don't have a bunch of lessons to turn in, but I also know that I'm really going to be held to something very specific and be held accountable to it. So it's kind of a nail biter as well. So yeah, that's the biggest change. And what started out with our lesson for the next 4 weeks was a video by Stephen Covey. And this video is called The Big Rocks, I believe. It's really easy to find if you just Google or search on YouTube, The Big Rocks, Stephen Covey. So if you haven't seen it already, definitely go check it out. I'm going to give you a little premise here. So what it is Stephen Covey, he's up there and he's doing a talk or something, and he calls up someone from the audience, and they have this bucket. The bucket is filled with all those like aquarium rocks, right? Those little tiny rocks. And it's a little more than halfway full. And then next to that bucket, there are a bunch of big rocks, right? Like a lot bigger, like potato-sized rocks. And all of those rocks have names. So the rocks are given names like career, family and relationships, urgent matters, personal time, vacations, all that good stuff, right? The important stuff. So he pulls someone from the audience. He says, I want you to take these rocks, these big rocks, and I want you to fit them into this bucket with the small rocks. And so she's like, all right. She's taking the rocks, picking them up, and she's smushing them in there, getting them in there. And there's not room for all of them. There's not room. And he's like, oh, looks like you left vacation out. She's like, no. I'm going to get vacation in there. She picks it up. She's like smushing it in there, and she's smacking the top of it. And it can't go over, right? It has to be like level. So she's smushing out. She's like digging holes, trying to get him in there. And he's like, well, it looks like you're forgetting. She's like, no, I'm not done yet. She's like, don't pressure me. She's putting it in there, and she finally gives up, right? She's like, all right. There's some rocks left. There's some rocks. And so he goes, let me offer you a different approach. So he gives her an empty bucket. Gives her an empty bucket, and she's like, okay. He's like, try this instead. Try to get all the rocks in this empty bucket. So first things first, she picks up all those big rocks, the vacation, the family time, the urgent matters, the service to humanity, all of these great things. She puts those in the bucket right away. We are going to get those awesome things in that bucket. Once those are all in there, clearly fit, right? Picks up the rest of those little tiny aquarium rocks that were in those little small ones and pours it in. And they fill in into all the crevices and all the spots. And even with room to spare, They all fit. They all fit. Right? Okay? I don't know what else I need to say. No, I was kidding. Seriously, if it's not already painfully clear, 99% of us are doing that first approach. 99% of us are taking and filling our life bucket with all those little rocks, all these little minuscule things that don't really even have labels. They don't even fit within these values, these important rocks, and we're filling it all in. And then we're like, okay, now it's time to look at the stuff that I actually care about and see where it can fit. Here's some family. Oh, vacation would be nice. Oh, God, there's never enough time. There's not enough room. Oh, life is so hard. And that's what we're doing, right? That's what we're doing. Why? We need to stop doing it backwards. Because when we take all of those big rocks, all those things that we say are important, that we believe to be important, that in essence are our values, right? A lot of those things are value, our family and vacation, all those things we say are important. All of those rocks, we put them first. We feel better. Obviously, we've taken care of the important stuff. That already feels good. Like, oh, I've already had a vacation. I already had that. Then all those little rocks, they're going to find their space. And in this situation, they all fit. They all actually fit in there once we took care of the other stuff. Now, you can think of it this way. They all fit in there because we're probably rested. We feel good. It's easier for us to take care of all that little stuff because we're feeling fantastic because we did all the big rocks. The other way to look at it is we probably don't need a big chunk of those little rocks anyway, because we've had room for what's important, right? Now we've had room for the big rocks. So if you haven't seen this video, I know I'm an amazing storyteller, but it's such a great visual to see. And it really is what most of us are doing. Like, we need to stop doing that. We need to go and say, what are my big rocks? And whatever those big rocks are, that's what our focus needs to be. And ultimately, that was our challenge for this month. Our challenge for this month is to choose those big rocks, whatever they may be, and commit to them. Say, yes, this is what it is. This is what I'm going to do. This is what the big rock that needs to happen this month. Now, this is on a grander scale of life, right? So we might have big rocks in general for our life, our family or things. But we also have big rocks of the month. And what we do is that this month I'm going to have this happen, yet we let all the little stuff get in the way and go, oh gosh, this month was awful and just this happened and that, and then I had this, and I'll hear it. Now, I was so guilty of this a long time ago of, but then this happened and that happened and so had this birthday thing and then I got invited to this and take care of the big rocks first. When we are saying yes to all of this stuff, we are saying no to something else. And most of the time than not, we're saying no to ourselves, saying no to our family. We're saying no to the things that we say matter, but we're saying no. Saying, nope, actually, this thing that's not that important is actually more important. And that's where I'm going to put my time. Yikes, ouch, that's harsh. So instead, we need to look at those big rocks, choose those big rocks for the month, say, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to focus on, and this is what I need to be held accountable for. Now, we talked last week about building in accountability for yourself and potentially having someone else be a partner with you in that, whatever that is. Use this, our video, comment, let us know if you want that accountability. I'm more than happy to check in with you. More than happy for our people to come in and say, yeah, are you doing it? That's awesome. I'll check in on you. I will. I'm crazy like that. So you can do that. But whatever it is, if you want to tag along, then this is your time to do it. This is your time to make a commitment. We are now 6 months into the year. We're in the middle of the year now, right? And it's time to see some change. It's time to see some differences. It's time to experience the momentum. And that's going to happen by setting these goals, holding yourself accountable, and watching something happen, right? Or I should say making something happen. You're not going to watch it. You're going to manifest it. You're going to make it happen. So let's do that. The other thing, if you are still tagging along, we do have an assignment for reading, which I'm actually very thankful that is still happening. Now, usually with our monthly reading assignments, there's actually an assignment that goes with it to explain something or whatnot. That's not the case right now. So I guess we just need to read it. And honestly, for me, that's enough. I don't know if you guys, I don't even know if I mentioned it last video, but I have been reading like crazily. I've never been a self-professed reader. That's just like never been my thing. I love knowledge, but like reading books were just, I like to do, which I guess reading is doing, but I had some resistance to it. I don't know what it was. But the last assignments, I have just eaten up these books like crazy. I ended up reading 5 books in the last 4 weeks. I have never done anything like that in my life. So it's crazy. I'm experiencing a whole new level of like love for reading. I've never had it before. So this has been an exciting thing. Now, I don't know if that's an inspiration to anyone, but it's amazing. Like I just so much knowledge. Anyway, point is we have reading, and the reading is called The Goal by, and I'm sure I'm not saying this right, but Eliyahu Goldratt. Now it's an older book. It looks like it came out in like 84. And of course there's been like 3 versions since. I will say, when we were first given the assignment, it was explained to us that it was like an engineering book. Like he was an engineer, and it's kind of industry based, but that there were several concepts that are relatable, which if this may sound familiar to you if you've been paying attention, because we also had to read the Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking. And again, that was like, well, what if I don't smoke? He said there's a lot of concepts, and there were so many things in there that were really golden nuggets that transferred to everything else. So again, the same thing was said about this book. Now, this was just given to us a couple days ago, maybe 2 days ago, I think 2 or 3 days ago. And I said, okay, obviously I'm going to read it. That's what I do. I'm going to read it. But I got to tell you, I'm 100 pages or so into it, maybe more now. And I have to say, I don't think I would view it as an industry book. I see what's happening in it. I think it's very, very interesting. If you read the preface of the book, he kind of explains the purpose of it, and it's much bigger than manufacturing or engineering, right? It's much bigger than that. And he explains in the beginning, he says it's really about the approach that we have in ideas and concepts, that in education and science, if we keep taking this information and saying, well, that's what it is, that's just the way it is, then we are also putting an end to an inquisitive mind. We're also putting an end to learning more and to finding new ways of doing things. And it's just so neat. I have to say, it's really neat. There's a story that goes along with it, so it's very interesting. It's like a personal story in it. He is talking about like a manufacturing plant and his experience in it. And there's no way, I don't think I can make this sound exciting, but I have to say I'm 100 pages in, and so far, highly recommend it. I see where he's taking us, but I'm still not sure what I'm going to learn. And it's really cool. So yeah, never thought I'd be saying that, but so far so good. I'll let you know what I think next week if I finish it by then, see what my final draft is on this. But check it out, because I think it's awesome. Obviously, again, I'm trusting, just trust Benjamin Hardy. He knows what he's talking about. Okay, so check out that book. And let me see if there's anything else. If you want to really jump into this, another thing that we were encouraged to do was actually make a video of all the things that we have accomplished so far this year. So if you've been sticking along and you've been trying these things for the last 6 months, you've been, setting goals, you've been checking in on those goals, you've been trying these assignments, you've been writing 10 vision, goals. Again, everything's goals. But looking at these and seeing what you want to be, who you want to be, and reading all of these books, then take a moment to stop and see what have you gained from that and what have you accomplished because of that in the last 6 months. Now, the video part of it, I'm sure we're going to end up, we might be sharing it in our group or whatnot, but I think there's something powerful about taking that extra step to have to get on video and talk about it. I know that's something for me every time I come in here every week. It's a lot different than just writing it down. There's something that comes through. So perhaps that practice is actually part of it and really helpful for you. So if it sounds like something you feel that you could benefit from, then make a video and say what you've accomplished. If you're so inclined, share on social media, share it here in the comments, whatever makes you feel good. Again, we're always here to support. Group is here to support. We got some awesome people who are tagging along. So, be part of it. And that's it. That's really it. So if you haven't already, check out that Rock's video with Stephen Covey. It's like 10 minutes long at the most. It'll seem faster than that. And check out that book. It's called The Goal. Did I actually say the name of the book? It's The Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. And I think that's it. So I hope you got some gems from this quick little video. If you did, click that subscribe button and you'll be notified when our next lesson comes up. And if you want to take this stuff and help apply it to your entrepreneurial journey and building your business, definitely follow me at TanyaMFK on Facebook and Instagram, where we share lessons that are very specific to business building and entrepreneurship. That is all. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.